Drew. What's poppin'? What's going on, y'all? You're now tuned into BMOCTV, the culture. I have no idea where the other co-hosts are. They hit us with the Bobby Brown tonight. We're going to rock on, okay? We're going to rock on, all right? All right, so we're going to talk about the New Edition movie that came out. Oh, somebody's coming on. Timothy Walton. Timothy Walton's coming on. I think that's Slizzy. Slizzy, you on?
Or maybe just a random fan that's joining us.
Slizzy, you sound like T-Pain right now, man.
Don't play T-Pain like that.
He's like he's sticking to the fan. I don't know. Slizzy, we're going to mute you for a second to get together, Slizzy, okay? But tonight we're talking about the New Edition story, unless you've been under a rock. It came out on BC last week. It was a 3-episode series, man. Such a monumental moment for music, for culture, for biopics. And we're going to talk about that, okay? The good, bad, and ugly, all right? So let's go get to the best co-hosts around the world, around the country, around the universe. Deshaun, say what's up to the people, dog. What's up?
What's going on, world? I am extremely excited about tonight's episode. I will be your resident Johnny Gill of this group tonight. As we got
I'm falling Ralph already.
Hey man, sort it out as you may, man. We about to get into it, man. Generally positive reviews, but I want to see what the co-hosts and the panel think tonight. So what's going on? Thanks for tuning in.
School Drew with the Rock Nation snapback. What's popping, Drew? Talk to us, man.
What's up? Glad to do this show, man. I really enjoyed being up last night until 1-something finish and watching a New Edition. It didn't even feel like I wanted to, Souls was going on. I finally got to finish it last night, part 3, and it was, we'll talk about it, but I'm excited to talk about this. It's gonna be dope.
Okay, all right, cool. Slizzy, man, say up to the people, Slizzy.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. What's poppin'?
All right, cool. Slizzy in the building, man.
Okay.
I didn't hear anything else after that. That was it. Like, Slizzy in the building. What's up?
Slizzy. He's in the building.
I'm gonna help you out, Slizzy. Whatever your internet connection is, just hit the 4G. Whatever the 4G is, hit that. If you got 3G, hit that too. I got the 5G. Hit the 5G if you got that. Okay, Slizzy. You in and out. So let's get rolling, man. So the New Edition story, 3-part episode. Man, BT was plugging this for like a year and a half. You know what I'm saying? Like, they've been plugging this since 2015. You know what I'm saying? I think before the movie came out, they had commercials already.
Yeah.
Like, look out, it's coming. But it was well worth the wait. The first night kind of focused on more about how they became the friends and they were like little kids, all the way up to the first hit single, Candy Girl. Pretty much the way it started to maturing into being teenagers. And then the second part is more about the rise, their success, and a lot of the fallouts they had as far as the business is concerned. And the third part was about them being men, coming back from their solo endeavors, trying to come back as a group, man, and this was up. It's funny, I was watching a Breakfast Club interview with Belle Biv DeVoe, and Ricky was like, they still having problems right now.
Yeah.
Ricky was like, he said, if the movie ends like 2004, 2005, he said, y'all did a movie from then until now, it'd probably be just as exciting as what you see. You know what I'm saying? And even Mike Bivins, he was like, yo.
3 of them there.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, Mike Bivins was like, yeah, it would be more of us here if it was that. I mean, that's crazy to me. That's crazy. I can only picture who has issues. Johnny probably cool. It's probably like, it's like, if we could get Bobby and Ralph, Johnny, you might as well just stay at the crib. You know what I'm saying? Johnny probably isn't a problem. It's probably something between Ralph, still being mad. He kind of, because Ralph felt like he put his whole soul career to the side, and then Bobby just wilding out all the. Bobby's always wilding out. You know what I'm saying?
Man, from day one.
So I love it. So the Shaughnessy, man, watching the movie, man, what are your thoughts on it, man, and how did you feel it?
Man, I am a sucker for the whole, group story, life story, and the whole formation and all that. I think it's more difficult to mess up than it is to execute. So BET did a great job really getting into depth. And I think the key to movies or biopics or whatever you want to call it is the depth, you know what I'm saying? Just like showing the dynamics of the neighborhood and the group forming and the relationships and the parents and all those different things, as opposed to just kind of hopping in, showing a couple of dance moves, 1 or 2 arguments and then getting out. you know what I'm saying, an hour and a half biopic. They really went into detail about it, you know, so I don't think the format can get old. We were talking about, you know, all the other groups from the 90s or, you know, early 2000s that could have similar kind of biopics and it still be fire. So just like I thought The Wire could have went forever and Making the Band could have went forever. It's just certain formats.
No, I couldn't. I think, Making the Band couldn't.
I'm telling you, Diddy could for me, I could see you Making the Band all the time. Long as there's some talent in the room and I get
if I heard one more Fred verse, I was gonna jump out of the building.
No, I'm talking about the
this dude said, "Look in the sky. You need a microscope. A microscope. What is what? You could have finessed telescope? Like I'm a dope telescope? Really? No, I know it could have whatever. No, that's over.
I meant the format of Making a Band, not that particular series. Like a different group each time. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. But I really like the depth that it went into, and I like the detail in the casting and the performances and all those little nuances. BET kind of knew they had to hit home to make it good, so I was a big fan, and I'm sure we'll get into more of the favorite scenes and all that. But yeah, I thought it was dope.
Definitely, I agree. Drew, what did you feel about it, man? Watching it, you stayed up all to 5 o'clock in the morning. Are you still watching it right now?
Yeah, you gotta blame Narcos, man. I was telling my friends yesterday, like I got on Narcos. I've been addicted to it. Set me back on my DVR all week, but you know, one thing that's really important, you know, so sometimes people, especially with BET, people are a little apprehensive because of the quality, whether it be award shows, different things like that. And this time, like the quality was, you know, you tell like with the casting, you know, having Chris Robinson direct it, you know, they really didn't hold any stops. Like even like the performance scenes, it wasn't like it wasn't like waist up shots. Like sometimes you get those in biopics, like waist up shots, and they'll put like the smoke, make it look like to make it look like a stage setting, have some smoke coming up, and you'll hear the fans, but you won't see them. You know, they had crowd shots. Props, everything. It was like it was a concert, different times too. It wasn't like the same cookie cutter stage setup. It was different ones for different performances. You know, they really went in with the detail, and the detail was very important. And you know, even like I even loved how like with Michael Bivins, how they had his accent is so distinct more than anybody else in the room.
Absolutely.
So how do you
even man, we going to the store, you know what I'm saying? Gonna get a Slurpee, you know what I mean? I came back, another Slurpee, you know, so we just gonna chill out, right? You know what I mean? Ricky, tell him what's up, yo. Rodney, tell him what's up, yo.
and that's the charm of it, because a big part of who New Edition is where they were from. Roxbury, Boston, like, and getting that accent, just that feel, having multiple times where they're actually in the projects, because certain things you really have to have the backdrop to make the whole story make sense, and understand people's mind state and the reason why they do make certain decisions. So incorporating all that, added to the story. So all the details to me that made it super ill.
Absolutely. One of the coolest parts was when it was on the Video Soul show.
Yeah.
All 6 of them. It was showing each of the videos. And so I happened to go online, and they had the whole interview there on YouTube.
Oh.
And everything they were saying in the movie, they said in the video, like it was to the T. Like the whole, let's say the BBD video, and Bobby messing with Mike trying to talk, and then Mike looking tight. They looked really, really tense in that interview. It was perfect, like perfect to the T. So
even Sherry Carter's crazy cheetah African outfit, whatever.
It was the exact same. And I think that's one of the things I liked about it. We'll get to the cons later. But one of the things I liked about it is the fact that like all the members were alive. So it's like they didn't get to produce it. So I felt like it was so authentic because everybody had a hand in it. It wasn't like the Temptations, like we said last week, where it's like Otis thought of the name Temptations and he was the leader of the group and he brought them together. He got the record deal. He met Smokey first. He met Berry Gordy first. It wasn't like that. It was like all of them had equal say-so and stuff like that, and Ricky was actually kind of the first person, and Bobby bombed, and so they really spread the love, and I love the authenticity.
And part of that authenticity was the honesty too, because
yes,
so for even like how Michael put it out there, there was certain, I'm guessing it was an issue within the group over the years that Michael wasn't as talented as the rest.
Yeah,
and they kept bringing that up. So not him being fine with that, being put out there to make the story as authentic as possible. That's dope. Because some stuff you might like, nah, don't put that in there because it's not accurate.
Right.
He's
right.
like when Ralph with the part in the scene where Ralph played them his solo record, and he was going down the line. Like, well, Ronnie, you can just be a model. Mike, this is your chance to be the singer you always wanted to be. And, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I was like, talk that ish, Ralph. Talk that ish, my man. Yo, Ralph. Let's get to the favorite characters. Ralph was my favorite character. If I may remember the group, man, we were talking about it online, and it was like, Bobby, this Bobby. And Bobby, listen, Bobby is dope. Okay,
Yeah.
Don't Be Cruel is the best solo album of the entire group. It may be the best solo album of that collective, to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, including New Edition. Don't get me wrong. Bobby is. In terms of dancing, in terms of performance, character, Bobby Brown is it.
Hold on.
But Ralph Tresvant, he's New Edition. Like, all the hit records. Yeah. To me, Sensitivity is my favorite song of the whole bunch. Like, Money Can't Buy You Love, Do What I Gotta Do, That's Being Sampled Crazy with Remy and Fat Joe. Like, Ralph Tresvant was that deal, man. I think he came out so late. Yeah. In the movie, they expressed that, how everything that Bobby was gonna do, Ralph was gonna do.
Right.
But Bobby did it like 4 years ahead.
Right.
It was like 88, something like that.
And since he was a kid, they kept putting in his head he's gonna be Michael Jackson.
Yeah, it was funny. They was in the studio in LA, and it was all in the studio waiting for Ralph to finish. And Ralph was giving the whole Michael Jackson vibe. He was like, yo, you might as well just go get something to eat, find some girls. This dude just but that shows you, like, if you see this movie, I don't get, because everybody was like, Bobby. I'm like, that's great. If you see this movie, it's clear who kind of put the group on their back. Like, it was Ralph. Like, I mean, it's just clear as day.
Yeah.
So he may not be the most popular one, but I mean, you got to get to do a lot of credit. If you cut him out the equation, there's no more tours. Like he is New Edition. Like if they did his solo career, then New Edition, you got to include that in his solo career, because he was doing 90% of the vocals. You know what I mean? So he took a lot on the chin, and after a while you do want to feel appreciated. So I definitely understand the angle of it. Because you in the studio working, they just smoking, getting girls, you know what I
mean? Yeah. Who's your favorite character, Drew?
My favorite character, I didn't even think about that till you guys just said that.
Mike, you gonna say Mike, right?
I probably say Mike.
Okay.
One reason too is because, somebody like how when they fired Michael Rappaport, what was his name in the movie? News manager.
Yeah,
Stuart George, somebody. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No matter what, you always need that muscle.
Yeah.
And you need somebody who's willing to ruffle feathers a little bit, and not the way Bobby Brown did. Bobby was just being reckless on a personal level. I'm talking about somebody who will run up in the office like, "Yo, where's my?" You know what I'm saying? Like somebody got to pull up. You know what I'm saying? And Michael Doodle's gonna pull up. Otherwise, you can get steamrolled trying to play the nice guy all the time.
Exactly.
So everybody, in any kind of group, any kind of team, whatever it may be, when you're a collective, everybody has to find their pocket. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so sometimes you need that person who can do that. Mike was that for them, and showing that he had that other side, because you see the scene where, he signed, with Boyz II Men and all that, and how he became an executive later. Like, I like that part. You have to find, especially like they were saying before, he wasn't the most talented guy. He didn't sing the best. But you got to find what you do to make everything go. Every piece of the group was a necessity. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, and after the movie too showed they did a good job of showing everybody's strengths and what they can do.
Yeah.
Whether it was, Ronnie's contributions as far as, his uncle and, and all that. And like everybody had a piece to make that shit go. And that's,
I love that part.
I think
go ahead, Deshaun.
Well, I was going to say Mike too, because I think it was the balance. It didn't hit me when you talk about biopics like Straight Outta Compton, how we would talk about how Dre didn't lose any cool in that. He never lost any style point. And it didn't hit me watching it.
Everybody, throw people out the window.
The man, and so, you want to see that. And so Mike could be so cool, but still, like you said, give up some of that power and be like, man, and have jokes about that and kind of be normal. And so, but since you spoke a lot about Mike, I'll say what was impressive was Ronnie, like kind of just coming in day one and just being prepared. I mean, he came in from the first audition, but how they showed him was like, boom, steps sharp, and they was like, oh man, it's lit, like he ready to go. So I really appreciated how Ronnie was firm, because a lot of times that last member would kind of be like a runover, but if people didn't just kind of run over Ronnie, he held firm and had his piece in there, and it kind of just spoke his mind when it was time, but wasn't overbearing. So I think Ronnie was somebody that I learned a lot about.
Yeah, it was dope when Bobby was like, you the coolest person in the group to Ronnie. He was like, if I made you mad, I know I must have really went over the line. You know what I'm saying? Like if you was mad. So I like Mike Bivins too, because I like the fact that he kind of educated himself on the music business, which I'm obviously a huge fan of. He learned what the production deal was, what distribution deal was, the points they were making, how they were signed to the manager, not the company, how they had the rights to actually fire the manager. And all those different types of things, which is kind of controversial because you also see that Michael Rappaport's character is trying to get from the advance, get from the money. But he wasn't as transparent about the business with them as he should have been. Like I'll just take care of you. He's like, no, we need to know what's going on. Like I don't even know why this production company is on our album that I'm selling. You know what I'm saying? I love that he used that to then become an executive himself. Not only speak up for the group, but like you said before, sign Boyz II Men and Another Bad Creation. And by the way, those dudes that play Boyz II Men, okay, they was thinking better than the cast members. I'm gonna keep it real. Maybe that's real life imitating art. I don't know. I don't know. It was like, Boyz II Men got 4 people. It was like 12 people outside that bus.
It was.
All those slow crews were singing they bus off. Word is bond.
One thing too about the also too about the honesty.
Yeah,
is what Mike is also when they showed when everything was going bad, they were going to little cutaways. Everybody was and after the tour ended, and he was on the phone with an artist. Yeah, and he said, "Well, did you read your contract?"
Exactly. Yeah. Fell into it too. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like
exactly.
1984 for him. All over.
And to touch on that, it's funny. It kind of made me feel like I wasn't as sympathetic to a lot of newer artists, because we've seen that happen so many times. And just me knowing, like just kind of being around small little elements in my early 20s, like I've seen a contract, and I remember reading the contract for the first time and having a lawyer look over it like, this is pretty kind of, I mean, it can be high level, but you kind of know what to look for. And so it's interesting, like we always talk about here, how artists feel like they just don't know anything. And I'm like, how could you go for that in 2000? In the late 90s and 2000, like, because it says like the artist known as this, real name is this, will get this percentage. This company's going to keep this masters and royalties because you're not putting that. Like, I know that. And then somebody that you consult with will say, hey, man, this is a basic deal. It ain't great, but it ain't nothing that I never see. So I'd be like, man, I understand how they got trapped in that. But for someone now today to sign a deal and be like, oh, this label jerked me because I didn't even know. Like, we've seen this enough for you to know something.
Exactly. Well, and that's why I always like the whole conspiracy thing. I'm like, no, it's not a whole evil plot. They just didn't hire a lawyer. You know what I'm saying? Like, they had a lawyer. But the thing that they skipped over the movie was that the moms, all of the moms, actually, encouraged them to sign this contract. Now, you could say, them being in the projects, they don't know about contract and litigations. They don't know all that. But, Mike's mom was like, we ain't leaving no money on the table, fam. Like, you basketball is cool. That's what's up. But, they're offering you $5 to stay for 5 years. You can sign this contract. You know what I'm saying? So then they would have fired my boy, fired the manager, fired Ronnie's uncle. They mad at everybody. But I'm like, keep in mind, y'all signed the contract. So shout out to New Edition. They didn't put it on their moms. But they could have put it on their moms. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but their mom was like, they didn't go back and say, hey, mom, you made this sign this when I was 7 years old. But they kind of did, fam. And they would have been mad at people, but y'all didn't sign it. And then when they sold those records, they didn't even renegotiate the contract. They were still in the contract from like 1978. And they were like 18. You know what I'm saying? They were on a tour bus with their name on it going back to the projects. Like they was outselling Michael Jackson on the singles chart, and they were still living in the hood.
That's wild.
And then they was gonna get an advance to move out the hood, but the advance is just a credit card. So they would still have to pay that back on top of the money they didn't get before the other 3 albums. So I don't know, man. I was like, if y'all ain't learned nothing from that.
I do think even still though I
don't know. You know what I mean?
Even though the parents did tell them to sign it, but this is the thing. For the most part, most people, especially you got to think about the how there wasn't as much access to celebrities and how the business works in the early '80s, late '70s.
Exactly.
Right. Exactly.
So the parents might just look at the TV like, oh, it's glamorous.
Exactly.
So they're gonna tell their kids to sign a contract.
Yeah.
Right.
Because
exactly.
why wouldn't they? And the thing is too, I do think people are opportunistic. You know what I'm saying? So they know the situation. When you're back against the corner, when you're back into a corner, what are you gonna do besides, if it's something looks okay?
Yeah.
Yeah,
you're gonna do it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like people do worse things for a check.
That's true. Especially if they offer you 500, you may not know it should be 10,000, but it's 500.
Exactly.
You wouldn't have gotten that 500 yesterday. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And I just lost my train of thought, but never mind. Go ahead.
But I was gonna say too, it's funny that the stark contrast between where music was at then and it's at now is kind of like back then. In advance, like I'm sure when everybody's ears heard $500, ours perked up like that's it. You know what I'm saying? Forgetting the time capture. But back then, nobody really had the confidence to say you were gonna blow. Like nobody was like, oh man, this is gonna be the next great thing, except some record execs. But like you said, a mom and the kids like, man, I didn't even think I was gonna win the talent show. So whatever you offer me up front is good.
I'm good.
Whereas nowadays, you can offer a dude that got 10 spins on his mixtape in his local bodega. And he's like, oh, only 10,000? I need 500 or I'm just going to It's the polar opposite. Now people want to hold out for 10 million like they all think they're going to be the next Kendrick Lamar. But back then they was like, man, whatever I can get, because nobody really thought that music was going to blow like that. So it's just funny where the industry is and how artists think differently now.
Yeah, it's funny too, because now it's like the 10 million was more readily available back then than it is now.
Yeah.
It's like, if you didn't come in between like 84 and like 2003, 2004, that whole big signing $1 million advance thing is not happening. I'm sorry. You gotta be Birdman and start your own label and find 8 other dudes to get that. Like you're not signing. Like it's you can't recoup it. The sales are down. You're relying on streaming and touring. Touring comes after you're already a superstar. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like unless you writing something for the next McDonald's commercial,
you gotta Mike Bivens somebody, man.
Yeah, and Justin did that. Justin already did that and pushed it. So, but I love that. Speaking of the business, shout out to Gerald Bugsby, which is an icon in our business. He's like the second Barry Gordy. Tank played his character. He's the head of urban artists at MCA. And now for those looking for MCA, it's absorbed by Universal Music Group. Universal Music is it's the biggest label in the universe. Interscope, Def Jam, Aftermath, Shady, like all of that's under Universal. Like they've absorbed all of that. But Gerald Bugsby is a really, really great. He should have a movie one day. He was really like the second coming of Barry Gordy and probably the biggest competition Motown had in the 80s, which is why Motown kind of like dropped. And then he became the head of Motown. When Johnny Gill became solo, that's why they say Johnny Gill solo, because obviously Bobby Brown solo was MCA and Rouse, I believe, was MCA. But when Gerald left to Motown, he said, I want to have the biggest artist I possibly can. Yeah, so that's why Johnny's solo wasn't on MCA. It was on Motown because he had to get ahead of that, which was a competition that whole decade. So I'm glad they touched upon that. But Tank did his thing on that. I like that.
One scene with him in it that was interesting to me was when they first went to the office and they were singing.
Yeah.
And because we've had conversations in the group before about vocally with No Audition.
Right.
And I've always been on the side that none of them could really sing that.
Ah, come on, Drew. Drew.
But he said
except for Johnny.
But he said
and Ralph.
What's the name again? Busby?
Gerald Bugsby, yeah.
He said that, but in that part, like, what are you bringing them in for these kids who could barely even sing? He said that in the movie. And I was like, see?
It was so
I'm like, they
when I hear New Edition, like, this is the thing, man. Like, and this is not the knock. I mean, I don't think they're like horrible singers. I think they make dope records. They could dance, and they make good music. But vocally, like,
okay,
like
Ralph. Go ahead.
Ralph is
Ralph, especially
Ralph is right? What? Have you heard Sensitivity? Have you heard Sensitivity, my friend?
Especially
not enough.
This is for me personally, right? This like Just on a personal level, for one, he's too nasally. His voice is very nasal. And it become kind of annoying.
Yeah.
Johnny was a good singer, but he wasn't like the original
right.
Band member. So Bobby can't sing, but it's not. But it's not even a knock. I mean, they're still great artists.
Yeah.
Exactly. They're great artists.
They make timeless music. But that particular line when he said that, I felt vindicated a little bit because I've always thought New Edition really couldn't sing.
Right.
Well, it's funny because when people bring artists to the label for the first time, they typically do perform. Like I know it was a huge thing when Bobby Smurder was in the Epic office. He was performing. They said, "Oh, it's a minstrel show," but I'm like, every artist, whether it's a country, a country artist, a rock artist, a hip hop artist, an R&B artist, you all bring them to the label. They perform for the staff to get the staff excited about working with that artist. So it isn't like a minstrel show. Yeah. Every race, every genre of music, we all go through this. So that's why his idea was, let me just go and sing, because this is your new introduction to this new label. So I get why the manager wanted to do that. Yeah. I think Gerald's bugged me. I think he was at that time.
Sing.
Yeah, exactly. He was like, well, it's not really a great impression because we need the studio magic for them. Okay, let's show them a video first. All right.
Because you gotta think Ronnie is not really a singer.
Yeah.
Bobby can't sing. So three of the
Ronnie's not.
So three of the members already don't even really sing like that. Man. So now you
no. So Ricky, listen, Ricky fired.
Don't do it.
Okay. The shot is, you're gonna say Ricky can't sing, but when Poison comes on, his parts are the most memorable parts of that song, man.
That's true.
It's driving me out of my mind. Come on, man. That whole little part.
Okay.
Them 8 bars is legend, man.
So to use your own argument against you, because Walter has stated many times in the group that vocally Day 26 will blow New Edition out the water.
Of course.
So tell me, where would you rank Ralph and Ricky in that group if they were in that 5?
And Johnny.
They made it set, no, not Johnny, because I know where Johnny would be. Like, Ralph, give me Ralph and Ricky. Where were they? Would they be somewhere around Q? Because they ain't seeing Mike.
They'd be right before Q. Q would make the group.
So they would be 5 and 6.
Q was a fire dancer though. He was like, he's a fire dancer. But no, Q, what Q's the weakest league. I mean, come on, we all know.
Right. So they would be 5 and 6 in Day 26.
Yeah.
It'd be BBDQ.
What he said? So take Q out of that group and put him with BBD and take Roddy out. Okay. But no. Okay. For those who are gonna stone me in the YouTube, yes, I said on Facebook group that New Edition. First of all, great movie.
Yeah.
New Edition collectively is dope. Me personally, in my era, like I'm 32, so the first full CD that I rocked with was like Dangerous and then like Don't Be Cruel. That whole New Jack Swing. I'm a New Jack Swing baby, like most 80s babies. So I got to know them more for their solo stuff. And when I went back, and I love Can You Stand the Rain, I love If It Isn't Love, and even Telephone Man, stuff like that. But for the most part, their solo records got me more of New Edition fans than themselves. So collectively, when I listened to their records, I don't think they were necessarily the best singing group of all time. I think they had some smashes.
Right.
So I said Boyz II Men and Jodeci and Day 26, a lot of these groups collectively could sing better than them. Absolutely. Now, people have issues with that because New Edition are legends. So it would sound crazy to say a group that came out 15 years ago can sound better. But technically, they can. Day 26 can sing better than them. So I don't know why that's such a shot to people. If I said the Jacksons can dance better than New Edition, nobody has a problem.
Right.
If I said
B2K
can dance better than New Edition, everybody would be up in arms, right? But both statements would be true. You know what I'm saying? It's just the times. You know what I'm saying? It's just you can come after a legend and be better than them, but you may not.
Yo, I lost audio.
I did too. I know it's BMOC lost it then because we both can't hear. Nope, not yet. Nah, you the weakest link, Q. We can't hear you.
You can hear me now?
Yeah, now you good.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So yeah, I'm just saying, B2K or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like.
Yeah, Ronnie's mic.
Yo, man, I'm sorry, man. I had to, put the headphones back. But
shout outs to Ron. Shout outs to Big Ron, man.
But yeah, but I'm just saying, like, but get back to the movie. Yeah. So New Edition was fire. Favorite scenes. Definitely favorite scene where they fired the manager, and Mike Davis is like, I was gonna write you a letter. I want to see it in your face. Now I don't know how. See, this is one of those creative Otis Williams things. You know what I'm saying? from the Temptations, because obviously Mike is speaking from that scene.
Yeah.
So we don't know if it came off that smooth.
Right.
You know right. It was super smooth. Like, I got ish to do. Holler at my mans. I'm like, maybe it happened like that. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, this is gonna get tabbed. Like, I don't know if it came off that smooth, but it was a dope scene. You know what I'm saying?
It was. I think that's one of them. One of my early favorite scenes, because it was just like it was in childhood, man. When Bobby lied about the performance, like, yo, Bobby, how'd you do on the stage?
Oh, yeah.
And I was popping. I ran off the stage, man. What are you talking about? Oh, y'all was there. I didn't know. Like, most kids, you know what I'm saying, 10 and under was doing that. How'd it go at the stage? I mean, I was killing the performance, man. I was getting it.
Exactly. Like when the gunshot went off and Mike did it like the Matrix.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, you can't dodge a bullet.
the scene.
No, I'm like, yo, but Drew, how did he dodge a bullet? Like, how do you see the gun and then you're able to dodge the bullet? Like, what is that?
I may not.
The years of choreography made him limber.
Ain't that much choreography in the world? Dodge a bullet on stage.
If it isn't love, got him ready for it.
That's hilarious.
Yo, that was wild. What is some of y'all favorite scenes, Drew? Give me a favorite scene, man.
The scene that was interesting to me was it was kind of uncomfortable because you just see the kind of snake stuff that kind of goes on. It was when Maurice was in the kitchen talking to Ralph. Making grown-up decisions. Like, no, that's a child. Like, why are you trying to make grown-up decisions with a child? No lawyer, no parent, no lawyer, no
nothing.
Yeah. The kids talking to a little boy about going solo and
Big Worm.
All these, and he definitely was in that moment. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's the kind of stuff that's always so ill to me. It's like, how do people move in that space? You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's one of the moments too. That was a questionable scene too. That was a questionable scene because even you probably saw that interview too, Drew. But Mike Davis was like, that scene. I want to ask Maurice himself, did he say that?
Yeah.
I was under the impression he was trying to spin us off as Jackson 5, which was already grimy.
Right.
But so Ralph, I'm saying Ralph, he didn't allude that Ralph snuck that in to make himself seem like he held himself back all those years.
Exactly.
But that's how I came across. No, so Mike was like, I'm sure Maurice may have said that, but I just want to double check because a lot of them from the process, they hadn't seen the full project. Like they all kind of gave their own stories and the writers picked each part of it. So some of them didn't know the stories until the movie. So
and it can make Ralph seem super. And then also too, if Ralph told it that way, it could be funny because also too, because then he called Maurice and make the terms. So now it makes he's super loyal, like he's the most solid dude in the world. Not saying that he's not, but he just came out ill on both, no matter what you say. Like, he just came out
Either way, that's his story. Like I wasn't the most successful one because I held myself back this whole time, which justifies my solo project, which justifies me being later in the game and Bobby getting all the shine. So you know what I'm saying? I believe it. I believe it happened.
Maybe it happened, and I do think it may have happened too because sometimes when adults feel they can manipulate kids.
Absolutely.
So Michael Jackson was the biggest name in the world, like the biggest artist. So if you throwing that out there,
right?
Oh, I could be like Michael. Let's do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you can manipulate kids with certain words and get in their face and tell them certain things. So it's and Maurice Starr was somebody who. Because one thing I wanted to, I'll get back to that later, but like he created New Kids on the Block.
Exactly.
So he knew how to talk to kids. You know what I'm saying? Like not in a, what to say to them, try to,
But see, that's another point because that's another 5-man team. It would have made sense to me, honestly, and I'm not saying this happened, that he did that later. Like after Candy Girl came out after Telephone Man came out, after the New Edition self-titled, which was the second album, then if he approached Ralph like, I want you to go solo, that would have made more sense. Because at that point, they would have had like 4 or 5 different hits. But you're giving him this decision without any hits. That sounds that's the only thing. It wouldn't have made sense. And then you turn around and do another 5-man group. You know what I'm saying? So
that's you also got to tell them later though.
Yeah,
that happened later.
Y'all, no, remember when Ralph was talking to what's his name again, Busby?
Yeah, Gerald Busby.
Yeah,
he was telling you need more hits before you do the solo album. So he
told that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, see that makes more sense. That makes more sense to me.
And we're talking about the whole confidence thing too. Is if you see somebody who's doing all the recording and you don't want them to be weighed down by the group, he could have been trying to prevent a flop because at the time still they don't know if New Edition is going to be this new wave or one-hit wonder. So maybe before they took a downturn, because if you see the recording studio and you're like, man, this guy is the only guy that can sing. Maybe I need to preserve him. You know what I'm saying? He's, I got the little voice and the image. Maybe I can preserve this because maybe I don't have confidence that this whole group thing is going to work out because they don't have, you know what I'm saying? So it could have went either way. He could have tried to get to him before the image was tainted, or they could have waited later. So,
well, that's my thing. And let's talk about that. So again, last week was the whole Bobby Brown pride thing, which I get. My only thing is this, and people said, I think they would say that Ralph was sabotaged for the group and MCA and all that. This is my only rebuttal to that. If you have the option of signing all those guys to solo records, right? So BBD, Ralph, even Johnny was kind of with Motown, whatever, and then Bobby Brown was MCA, all of them together. Your best interest as a label would be to make sure they all pop solo, so that they would return as a super group. Exactly. You wouldn't try to sabotage each career to come back, because this will look like, okay, we're coming back together because we flopped, which actually is what happened. Everybody's second solo records, but I think Bobby's third, because they had those crazy remix albums. Right. But everybody's remix. Yeah, like everybody had a remix album. It's crazy. But everybody kind of flopped their second major push. So as a label, you would think that I would want to make sure that everybody pops great, so that when the reunion comes back, it sells even more records. It shouldn't be right. It should be I want to beat you down, said you come back to me. No, they're already under contract. Right. They had another New Edition album anyway. They had to do another record anyway. Yeah. And their solos were on the same label. So unless you're leaving, I want to make sure that you are the best group possible. I just think that what happened, especially with Ralph, his second album, he produced most of it, and it didn't sound anything like the first one. Yeah. Bobby got so big that you couldn't manage him. You couldn't direct him. BBD, they went super duper gangster, trying to be like Dr. Dre and the Chronic. And then Johnny, his music just got too and then Johnny's music just got too mature for his audience. Like he wanted to jump from being 22 to like 45.
He wasn't just talking to his mamas.
Yeah, so I think they all kind of lost their direction trying to be this mega, right? And when and then they came back with a 5 album, but then the tour was crazy. So I think the movie was a really great depiction of the business of groups, of it was a fantastic.
The one thing I kind of mentioned before, I thought when Maurice Starr, he just kind of went away, and I thought that was kind of weird.
Yeah, they never really explained. Yeah.
And I would, this first off, I want to say probably get to later, but I think the movie was great. I think out of 10, I would say I'll give it for biopics and that's out of 9. Like it was dope. It was super dope. So anything I say is a little. This is me just looking. I would have liked the angle of a little part just to throw it out there, just to get people's ears perked up and maybe do some more research. It's like I mentioned before, the New Kids on the Block thing, because Maurice's idea was when that ended, I'm gonna go make me a white New Edition.
Right.
And that's what they were. Like even if you listen to New Kids music, it wasn't super pop. It sounded urban. Like,
yeah, exactly.
They kind of had like a little more of an edge. They were like kids from they were like the white boys.
They weren't like the Osmonds or nothing like that. They were more like
exactly. They weren't Disney kids put into a group like NSYNC or whatever. They were like real kids who knew each other.
It was fire.
And to see like maybe, because I'm pretty sure New Edition probably had, because the year Any Heartbreak came out, that was the same year like New Kids took off. So I'm sure they probably like, man, they from our neighborhood, they from our city.
Yeah, they're from
Maurice
Boston. New Kids on the block, new edition, the whole new thing.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
It was a direct spit off. Like it was just crazy.
And they were like the biggest thing. So I would like to see like what their thoughts of that. I'm sure they felt something about it. I'm sure they had conversations about it.
That's a good point, Drew. That's a very good point. They never mentioned that like competition. Even though I guess they wouldn't see them as competition, but they were. So that would have been great to see. Like, wow, you got these other five white kids, you know what I'm saying, from our area. That would have been a great move.
We got a question from the chat asking in relation to the individual careers. Jessica asks, why does it seem like when male groups split up and go solo, it's not as big of a backlash as when female groups split up and they go solo?
Ooh, that's a great question. That's a great question. I think it's a lot to do with like misogyny, to be honest with you. It's a lot to do with the male ego. Yeah. I feel like with women, it's more pressure to be united than it is for men. I feel like once a man is more assertive, once a man takes more of a lead front, it's kind of like a expected thing. But once a woman says, I want to be bigger than where I am, it's always an issue. Yeah. So yeah, like Beyonce, like a lot of people don't remember this era for some reason. I don't know why this was deleted out of history. This is like the Sinbad being the genie movie. It's been deleted out of our brains. But there was a year and a couple of years that people hated Beyonce for leaving. Yeah. They hated that the other girls got kicked out. She was getting booed at games. You know what I'm saying? Her aligning herself with Jay-Z. Her aligning herself with the Jay-Z and the hip hop community kind of won her over with them. But for the longest time, they was hating on her, but nobody hated Mike. Nobody hated Michael Jackson. Nobody hated Michael Bivins. Nobody hated Mike. Nobody hated Bobby. Nobody hated Justin Timberlake. Nobody hated Jordan. Like nobody hated these people for doing their thing. Cisco. Nobody hated Cisco. Nobody hated Omarion. But it's always that. So I feel like
before Beyonce. I'm sorry, Wombo.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I'm saying go ahead. You go ahead.
Okay, before Beyonce, the first person to get that was Diana Ross.
Exactly, Supreme. Yeah.
And that was even messed up because of her relationship, with Berry Gordy. That made it look even more foul. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So I think elements like that can make it tougher for women, maybe. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think that's a whole other conversation. I just think it's just the dynamics between men's relationships with each other, with you and your homies, versus girls. Like maybe it's harder to get them back in the room. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah. But y'all can fight it out and then be cool. You know what I'm saying? Like
with women, it's like it's over. That's it. And maybe good point for you because we hadn't seen a lot of women solo singers really break out from groups that were successful. Like Coco had kind of the same Ralph Tresvant thing, but she was like, I'm sacrificing myself for the group. And she tried it and people weren't really receptive to it. So she went back into it. Like the Spice Girls. I mean, if you want to talk about them, Mel B tried to go solo and they wasn't rocking with it. You know what I'm saying? So maybe it's tough. That's a good point. We haven't seen a lot of women.
The girl, what's one calling Escape?
Come on, Candy?
No, not Candy.
Tiny?
Latasha Scott.
Yeah, all of them tried to be solo. That one popular.
Well, she was the main one though. She got pushed first.
Yeah.
Yep.
She was singing a lot of the leads, but she didn't pop either.
Even though I do like that Candy joint, we out in the club, I think I'm not. That's a classic joint right there. It's a classic joint. But yeah, that's a good question. But so critiques for the movie, some critiques. So people were saying that it was too many commercials. Okay, fam, check this out. I'm into the mic business. Hey, yo, man, check this out, family. You know what I mean? But no, okay. First, you guys said the movie was going to be bad. Right? Wasn't bad at first. First night wasn't bad. Then y'all say, okay, well, the kids are great. The adults are going to mess it up.
Exactly.
The adults come, they do a phenomenal job. So now you have to listen. It's a TV movie. They're not making the money off of ticket sales, off of popcorn, off of soda. They're making it off of advertising. Yeah. So what do you expect? Like, really? The commercials really? Of course it's going to be back. It's a TV movie. We expected a 6-hour movie with no commercials?
Man, I'm not gonna lie to you.
Is this
Exactly.
Yeah, or DVR it. Like,
every night.
Get over it.
Man, we forgot what it was like trying to rush and get something to eat and go to the bathroom before to come back. Like, cause I surely DVR'd. I was like, oh, I was reading the feedback like, oh, commercials. I wouldn't have to worry about that. But we have forgotten, man. We the same kids that used to have to get here and get back before Martin came back from commercials. So it's wild.
Oh, you kids don't know, man. Having one VCR tape and having to rewind over something that you already recorded to get that, they don't know that, man. Or setting the clock timer so that you can get the show.
Or even worse, having a fear that you recorded over something that your mom or dad want to record it, and it might be gone. I'll leave the house for a whole weekend if I thought I recorded over a show that my parents wanted. Like, it's a wrap. Ain't no coming back from that.
This is nothing. Listen, use the commercials to tweet something, go to the bathroom, get something to drink.
You know what the trick is?
You know what I mean?
So say you record it, right? But you don't want to wait till tomorrow to watch it.
Yeah.
All you got to do is wait 30 minutes.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
And you can always zip through. You'll always be behind. You can zip through, and you're only 30 minutes behind, so you have to wait till you can still watch it the same night.
Exactly.
The best comment from Donnie Ray was, if it wasn't for commercials, we wouldn't have known New Edition was coming out.
Bingo.
Mic drop right there.
Yeah, like for those who don't know, TV shows get funded by advertising. You know what I'm saying? The higher the ratings, advertisers want to pay you more. Like, they were going to do that. Like, I don't know why that's such a big shot, but I feel like our people, we have to like nitpick everything. We have to nitpick every single possible thing. The Super Bowl got mad commercials. NBA Finals has mad commercials. It's any big events that have mad commercials. It was the highest rated a BT TV show in like 10 years, something crazy. Something crazy.
And one thing too is, and it goes back to what I was saying before about the quality. So if you're gonna be paying, I'm sure Lala wanted to check. Chris Robinson wanted to check. All like
Tank wanted to check. You gotta pay.
Tank definitely did his check.
Michael Rappaport wanted to check.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So the kid off it's not Power, but he's on Empire, right? I don't watch
Empire.
Yes.
Yeah, Hakeem.
He want to check. He want to check. You know what I'm saying? So like, you know, you have to pay to get that. Otherwise, you'll end up with some C grade movie. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying.
Like you said, the revenue stream is different. People aren't making it off of all that stuff that they do at the movies. And also we also get a longer movie that's more in depth.
Exactly. Because originally they said it was going to be a 2-hour thing, which I don't know how in the world that was going to be 2 hours. Like, they would have skipped over mad stuff. You would have had any of the solo career stuff. The performances would have been mad short. It would have stopped in 1993. You know what I'm saying? If they gave you up until like the last decade, from the 70s to the 2000s. That's incredible.
It would have been one of those,
you know what I'm saying?
Where at the end they'll say Ronnie Bivens, Ronnie DeVoe do this.
Yeah, the paragraph joint. Yeah.
The bus will be going off or something in the background.
That's what I'm saying. The only next best thing I would have said if I had to have a critique would have been, it probably could have been a great Netflix series too.
Exactly.
If you want to slow it down a tad bit between like the 90s, and then lead up till now, it could have been a good 8-part, like The Get Down.
Absolutely.
Or Stranger Things, it could have been like a good 8-part if you wanted to go there. But it wouldn't have been as big as an event.
Right.
Of everybody watching it, Black Twitter. It made it more of an event to watch it every night. Like that.
And keep that money black, man. Like, not to keep that money black, man. Like BT did a great job there, and that's what Mike was saying too in the Breakfast Club. BT is a huge part of New Edition's career.
Absolutely.
Back in those video soul days and Playing the Groove and all that. Like, without them, Stephen Hill, all those people, he made the cameo in the movie. Like, it's very important to keep that. We got to keep something for ourselves. So we can't give it away to ABC or Netflix.
Kind of to ourselves. We know
music guy. But it brought back that feeling. I mean, I'll never forget of when the Jackson's American Dream came out. Like, I remember having to get home and watch that series every night and talking about it because it was that moment. So it kind of brought that back because everybody was getting home. It seemed like on Facebook or Twitter or wherever, to watch the new edition and recap every night. It wasn't something everybody just binge watched and said, oh, that's a cool little series, so I'll get back to it and watch it in the summer when I got time. Like, no, people was there each night to recap and couldn't wait to get there. And if if you missed it, people was watching it either 2 or 3 in the morning. So it brought back that feeling that I don't remember since Jackson the American Dream came out and everybody was running home from wherever to see it and recapping. So
and that creates higher ratings when more people are talking about it. And people who made that, if you missed all the 1,000 commercials that came out the last year and a half, what's everybody talking about? And that'll increase ratings. And now it's a buzz, it's trending, and all those different things. So like, I don't know what people expected. I have no idea. People just love to nitpick on everything. Somebody has to critique something. But we're gonna do that anyway tonight. We're gonna do it. So some critiques. Some critiques. So let's start with the kids. Those kids look almost exactly like them. I think the only Bobby especially. Good Lord, bless his heart. Listen, we all know New Edition. The kids, some of the real New Edition kids. They weren't, the model magazine kids, all right? They was rough around the edges, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
but that was part of the charm, you know what I'm saying? That was part of the charm.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
But I think definitely the star was the boy that played Ricky. He was in Stranger Things. Mm-hmm. He was really good. I want to say the kid that played Ralph. I think Ralph was probably the best casted. Maybe
absolutely.
I think the kid Bobby was the best casted. I think in terms of the adults, Ralph was the best casted.
Absolutely.
I think in terms of look and voice, I think in terms of character, Yaz was the best in terms of getting Mike Bivins down.
Yeah.
I haven't really watched Empire like that. I'm sure people are probably shocked, but I really haven't seen Yaz's performance like that. And him as Mike Bivins, I saw Mike Bivins. I didn't see anybody else. Mm-hmm. But I think Bobby, when he wasn't performing, was great. Yeah. When he was performing, it was just so hype. It was like the camera was moving slow.
Yeah.
he was like a step ahead every time. I'm like, you can slow down a little bit. You know what I'm
saying? Every little step. I think that's that's hard to duplicate. I think he did as good as he possibly could.
He could, yeah.
That's tough choreography, and to get that's so iconic.
Bobby was going off. Well, Bobby is prime. Bobby was going off.
And also too, what's hard about that? What's hard about trying to recreate that video is its simplicity. It's like trying to recreate like Single Ladies.
Exactly.
There's no fireworks going off to distract you from what's going on, where you can do little to try to change the viewer's eye. That video is all Bobby, so you have to be on it. So you have to be. Like that was hard to do. He did his best. I think he possibly could have with that.
He tried, but definitely when he was performing the character, I think he really nailed it. I think this is his first acting role. I think I heard it say on Sway. Ricky's character. I know dude's name. Wasn't he on The Butler?
I don't remember.
He's been acting before. I think he was probably definitely a strong actor. He just looked nothing like Ricky to me. He looks nothing at all like Ricky whatsoever. He sounds more like him. Yeah, he was short. I didn't know that Ricky was on drugs. I had no idea.
I know he was on
coke. So they were asking what were some of the things that we didn't know, and that seems to be one of the common shockers and then I was talking to Trev the other night, and he said something interesting is that when they were on the bus trying to talk to Bobby, and they were like, man, Bob, you do the same stuff all of us do, you just get caught. So that kind of was almost like insinuating that maybe all of them was getting their nose wet. You know what I'm saying? Like they were kind of doing a little bit of everything, and he was just taking it to the extreme, and they just showed that. But
that's a good point.
Yeah, so
not Johnny. I don't think Johnny was doing nothing.
I don't know if Johnny was doing it. He could have been, man. He could have been.
Speaking of Johnny. Okay, so this is probably my biggest critique. Luke James. Okay. Luke, I've been, low-key fan of Luke James. He hasn't had that hit song. I'm a fan of his voice. I definitely think he nailed the singing part and the mannerisms of Johnny Gill. Yeah. The acting could use a little bit of work. I felt like he was kind of like, like Ghost is in Power.
Yeah.
He's like mad, upset, and shocked. Everything. Yeah. I feel like that was Johnny. He either laughed when he was mad or laughed when he was offended. Like, oh man, he always had that. And I'm like, you didn't have any other feelings, like.
So we got to prioritize now. Do you want some dude that can't sing, right? Or do you want?
Yeah.
Or they could have got some other light complaint to do to play Johnny that could act and sing. Like, but they tried the best they could. It's hard to get Johnny. You know what I'm saying? I think
Johnny got the lower end of the stick there. I think the voice, they nailed it. He looked similar to him with the shag. When he was singing, I could believe that was Johnny.
Absolutely.
But when he wasn't singing, the acting was super duper limited. And I think they did a good job. Like what Ashley said in the group of showing everybody's perspectives. It's hard to get 6 different perspectives in a movie.
And that would be
but Johnny's, you wouldn't get his full perspective besides his talk with Ralph in the studio.
Exactly.
Other than that, you didn't really know. He was just kind of like, he was just the last person there. Of course, that's just how it played out.
And I think that's something you sacrifice in movies like this, because that would be my biggest thing, is just kind of wishing that would be the serious part of it, to go a little deeper into the relationships that they had as individuals. I have no idea what happened with their schooling. They're supposed to be in tutoring, or I don't know their relationship with their parents. If any of them had an individual conversation with moms, like, what was
Bobby's mom? Bobby's mom.
Right, exactly. And relationships, like all these different elements that, like you said, could have been a 10-part series to really dive into the individual lives. They did as best they could, showing some of the marriages and Bobby having a baby. But it's so much that you kind of want to know about them. So it's not even a real critique, because it was still great. But it could have been a lot more detail that you just kind of got to skip over.
Yo, it's funny. Morgan said they made Ricky look like Sammy Davis Jr.
Who, Ricky, right?
Yeah, I can't.
I swear, last night, I saw my wife last night. I'm watching, like, he looks like Sammy Davis Jr. I was telling my wife that last night. I swear to God.
That's it.
Oh my God.
I said the same thing.
He did. I'm like, they're gonna like fatten him up a little bit. They're gonna like make him bigger. I don't know.
That's hilarious.
I can't.
But that's the good news though. Now Sammy biopic comes out, we got a Sammy.
No, he can't now. He can't do it. He already did it. He already did it to somebody.
They have that one dude play every famous black guy.
Black Panther. Black Panther played James Brown, and he played Jackie.
Robinson.
But speaking of that, when you were just talking about the guy from Empire, I think that this role may have opened up, because I think Empire may have pegged him to just kind of be that. This may be a role that if people watched it, now he may actually get some other roles that aren't just going to be like Akeem. Like that may have opened it up.
Yeah, I think so. So that now I bet I'm crying. I didn't even think about it. But he looks like somebody, but it isn't Ricky though.
Just like Sammy.
But what's some other stuff that I could say? Definitely.
One thing that was weird to me.
Go ahead, Drew.
My man. One thing that was weird to me was so on the Candy Girl tour, when they come back to the project, how did they go from being little kids to adults on the same tour?
But no, in all fairness, if you look at both their album covers, they did like jump into being like adults. Like their puberty rate just went like, I don't know. They
were little kids in Seattle and growing up in San Antonio. Like,
no, I hated the metamorphosis. The black and white video metamorphosis where their face changed. It was like a Tina Turner joint I was talking about last week. I hated that. Like they could let that out. They could do like a spin, and then they could have spun into adults. Don't do the whole metamorph. I don't need that. I don't need that.
Yeah. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. Well, they could have done the choreography and they turn back.
Yeah, you spin with a jacket. Yeah, save your $10,000. All right. Put that towards a new Johnny or something. No, Donnie Ray, my bad. He wasn't bad. I know y'all love Luke James. I'm just saying.
That's hilarious.
But no, they did great. So some of my favorite scenes, I love it. Did Katie Said the Rain in the studio?
Yeah,
that was fire.
That was crazy.
That was fire. I did.
They were good with Jimmy Jam and Terry. Did a good job with them.
Oh yeah, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. Oh man, they did them.
I didn't know that whole feedback for Bill Biv DeVoe came from them. If that's pretty much accurate, but I didn't know that either. That was it was kind of.
It was like the leftovers. Like, hey, so what are you guys gonna do? I'd have been mad, disrespectful. I probably wouldn't even have done it because I would have been so disrespected in that moment. You know what I'm saying? They got it at that petty. but they end up having the biggest song with Poison.
Yeah.
Speaking of Poison, so all the performances was John Blaze, okay? Poison, I was a little disappointed with it.
The video.
Extremely
Yeah, the
disappointing.
video was a little. They're covers. So for those who don't know, when you do a movie like this, you need rights to the song. So you have the actual recording rights, you have the publishing rights. The publishing is like the lyrics and the beat or whatever, right? And you can do covers. And then the recordings are actually the voice. So with New Edition, they definitely own their publishing. I don't know if they own the master recording yet. I think Mike Davis said they did. But what they did special was that they let the actors do the vocals. Yeah. So they had the music, they had the beat. So all that wasn't remade. All that wasn't redone. They did the vocals, which was dope. The problem with that is sometimes you lose the essence of it when the cast. So Poison was a perfect example of it. It just didn't sound as familiar as Can You Stand the Rain. It wasn't as authentic to me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Sensitivity was dope. My was dope. Even the Every Little Step I Take joint. No, My Prerogative. He killed My Prerogative on stage. He had like 3 Bobby songs in this. They want to do all. That's why they throw Ronnie in. But the Poison was a little disappointing. But I was already sold on a movie, so I wasn't. I was already rocking with him. So
my favorite was the end. The BET performance.
Oh yeah.
That was my favorite point. That was super ill. And one thing I thought about when I was watching it was when they were on Breakfast Club and the actors were saying how, people think they know the steps to their favorite videos and I can do it. Not when they go on 5, 6, 7. Like you gotta count off and you gotta make sure your spacing's right and you gotta make sure you're looking at the camera. Like we have to do all that. Like you don't know the steps, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like
exactly.
So to see them they put the work in, because that last scene was long. You know what I'm saying? And they did, doing a medley and have to go in and out of choreography and knowing your places and when to come back and come in, all that kind of stuff. When to get back in the line, when to come out to the front, it was flawless, man. Like that last performance was super sick because it's more than just let's watch the and also too the Every Little Step, because that's one video. The choreography is so. I mean, that helped make that record was the video. All of Bobby's songs,
really, the videos help. I mean, but even Don't Be Cruel. I mean, that whole video was fire.
Well, no, not that. I was saying not Every Little Step. I meant
My Prerogative.
If It Isn't Love.
If It Isn't Love. Oh yeah. Oh that choreography has to be super important. Speaking of which, we haven't talked about the man of the hour, the man that they kind of felt sorry for, Brooke.
That's what I was going to say next about that.
Yeah, Brooke Payne with Harris. With Harris, we played a lot of that role. For those who don't know, Brooke Payne actually helped discover them, so to speak. He's the cat that they was performing in front of his car. Like, we're not moving, we're not leaving this till you sign us. That was really great, him being Ronnie's. I know he's Ronnie's uncle. Blaming, and them kind of the mom's blaming him for the money, even though they still signed the contract. You know what I mean? Blaming him for the money, and then kicking him out. And then when he got the major deal, they had to bring him back in because they didn't really know how to deal with him. You know what I'm saying? So I think that was dope. That he was trying to tell him like to stay on the right path, and they was superstars. So it was like, we ain't feeling you. But isn't that crazy? At the same cat, you was in front of his car trying to get a deal. Now he can't tell you nothing. You know what I mean?
And it was funny because they made a point early on to talk about his emphasis on nobody being bigger than a group. And as soon as they signed to the label, it was all Ralph, come to the front of the thing. And nobody was easy because they have bought into this concept of a group. You know what I'm saying? And they struggled with Bobby, but everybody kind of knew Bobby. And that's what kept them on the narrow. And then they destroyed all that as soon as they got rid of him and that's when the ego started to flare up. And there was a competition for the spotlight as opposed to just kind of keeping it one band, one sound.
Yeah, exactly, man. Exactly.
And also too, what's up about him, what I was gonna say also is because like when I didn't know when I was younger, but when I grew up and I watched that video, he looks like Jamie Foxx.
Yeah, I said it too.
And so when I watched that, I was like, oh, okay, that's who that is. I knew it wasn't Jamie, but it couldn't have been Jamie Foxx.
It looks just like Jamie Foxx.
Yeah, but now, we know who that was. So I thought that was very dope. But I like the certain detail. One thing I always pride on when I watch that video is Ralph. If you look at Ralph's feet, Ralph has on like girl stirrups on his feet. He has,
No.
he has on tights. in the feet, like he has no socks on with like these little like some Toms on or something. And like
it's crazy.
And
anyone in the water, anyone that splashed the water on himself or he dips himself in the water.
Yeah.
Ain't that him?
I don't.
Yeah, bro. When them dips in the water, they come up out of the water with their hair. Like, why? That is so random. Why they do that? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, that was Johnny. I thought
that was Johnny.
Maybe I don't know.
Was it Johnny?
Yo, the people in the chat. Which new edition? This is a surprise guest. Which new edition member in the Live Love video dipped themselves in water and they came out splashing their hair with the water coming back? Who was that? I think that was Ralph. I think Ralph was the only person that would do that.
Because he's Mr. Sensitive.
He's Mr. So-called gentleman, you know what I mean?
But so I remember I always thought that was weird. Like, why would he wear that? And I would watch the real video. So I was watching the movie. I'm looking like, let me see if they put them in the stirrups in them Toms, and they did. So like that's what I'm saying. Like to me, that makes all the difference, man. Like to me, it's all about the details, the accoutrements, every little piece of the little because especially the records, because they highlighted certain songs and videos for a reason.
Yeah.
You know, those are iconic videos, iconic records. You know what I'm saying? So every detail for me like matters. Yeah. And if I was putting that movie together, I would look at that certain kind of like maybe that could serve.
Yeah, Drew, it'd be like an 18-hour movie if Drew did it. But every detail would be in there. For sure.
So I don't want to get out too far, but since Drew's speaking on it, I'm gonna tell you a movie that burns me up about how the details just got all lost. Is if anyone's ever seen Coach Carter.
Oh yeah,
Coach Carter, you know, Samuel L's this coach, you know, in Richmond, California, who resurrects this inner city school to a great program. We're from Northern California, and they cast Ashanti and all these New York people. They're like, "Yo, son," the whole movie. Like, I'm like, "Is this the same Northern California I know?" Ashanti's like, "Yo, you know what I'm saying, son? I don't." And I'm like, and then the Puerto Rican kid that's like, "Yo,
okay. Don't get me tight about that. They had freaking Ice-T play a New York cop. Okay, right in New Jack City. So relax a little bit.
But that's New Jack City is a reality based. This was based on a real situation.
Exactly.
And it's a whole cast of people that's like so a new edition. It's important. It's important because imagine if Ice Cube's son played Michael Bivins and he got this heavy Los Angeles accent. It throws it all off. So all those details do kind of matter for people who
I hate Coach
identify.
Oh wait, hold on. It was Ralph. Thank you, Stephen Lau. It was Ralph that did
was Ralph in the water.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it is important, especially for those people. I'm sure folks from Boston and from wherever, you know, kind of wanted to tune in to make sure they had some indicators that, you know, they was from there and there was gonna be some folks that hit home. So good job, BET.
Yeah, I think they did great. Again, that's
shout out to Chris Robinson.
Yeah, exactly, Chris Robinson. That's why it helps. But again, all the members are alive to help put their thoughts in. So I think Mike Bivins also said in the interview that the reason why Bobby wasn't on board initially because he wanted New Edition to be a 2-hour movie and he wanted his own movie to be a 2-hour movie. He felt like if he signed a contract, not only would the New Edition story be on TV, which he thought was less money, but he thought he also had to give the rights to the Bobby Brown story. But luckily, they probably got paid more doing it this way than they would have because it would have been an hour and a half, you know, quick rush movie. Like if I thought the third part of New Edition was rushed, imagine a 2-hour theater release. You know what I'm saying? Bobby's story he could probably do in 2 hours. Yeah. But even his story could be his own 5-hour, you know what I'm saying, 5-hour movie with him and with Whitney and even some of his backstory.
They only said Whitney's name one time.
Yeah, and I guess that was Whitney at Ronnie's wedding.
What?
I think he was dancing with her.
But they
never showed her face. They never showed her face. Like she didn't really talk. You know what I'm saying?
But they only said Whitney's name one time, and it was kind of like barely hear. It was like a TV reporter talking.
Yeah.
Bobby Brown, his wife Whitney Houston. And I was wondering how much. Or how much of the guys who were like, man, Bobby was tripping with Whitney or whatever. They didn't do none of that. And I think that might have been more respect out of Whitney.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but by the time he was with Whitney, he was more his solo stuff.
Exactly.
You mean when they got back together?
Well, I mean, just in general. Just
in general. Okay, yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I think
but one thing was interesting though.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. What?
I think Brooke mentioned it too when they was on the Home Again tour, and he was like, Bobby will come, but when Whitney, something about when Whitney's there, he'll just leave. So they did try to like get her in the mix of it.
Yeah.
But I think in order to tell that Whitney was more like Bobby's album Beyond. Like after Don't Be Cool, I think that would be more 90s. I thought the 90s was kind of sped up a little bit. They kind of really jumped. Yeah. After that interview, he was like, "Yeah, we recorded the album in 2 months." They jumped 6 years ahead. And that was Whitney prime. They jumped.
Yeah.
They jumped all over The Bodyguard, all over Preacher's Wife, like everything. So,
it's interesting because I knew that Bobby was wilding out. I didn't know Bobby was wilding out that early. I thought it would kind of progress. Like I always thought, like, okay, maybe the second. Yeah, go ahead, Bruce. I was mad.
Sorry, go ahead. Because when you watch the Whitney Houston biopic, if you watch the Whitney movie, it was kind of like Bobby when she was in the studio like doing coke, and when she went up there, Bobby went up there, like it was kind of like Bobby was like the innocent guy, like, oh my God, what are you doing? That kind of thing. But then in this,
we know that wasn't authentic. But the one that I will say,
Bobby was still coke when he was 15, like.
Yeah, the one thing I can say about in the defense of this movie, which I would hate to defend this movie at any day, but when Whitney and Bobby first met, they were just friends at one point.
Yeah.
And then there was a thing where they kept in contact, and then they became an official couple.
Yeah.
So you could say that if he met her in like '86, when she was kind of popping off, she could have been doing coke before him, maybe 5 months ahead of time.
Yeah.
Then when they became
a couple weeks.
Exactly. Then he was still doing his thing, still getting people pregnant. Then he doubled back because in that Whitney movie, he already had a kid.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you take that into account. He had the kid in the movie. So if you wanted to try to match that up, I still think the BT movie is probably way more authentic than that movie. And that movie should have been Whitney. That movie should have been Whitney and Bobby. If they would have said Whitney and Bobby, just at the and Bobby part, no problem.
Right.
I think that's Whitney Houston's story. Completely off base. Completely this was wrong. So speaking about the biopics, when we wrap up, what would you rank this movie of biopics? Is this a top 10? Is this a top 5? Deshaun, where would you rank this movie?
It got tough when we did the rankings because certain movies were done differently, like Ray and all that. But I say it's a candidate for top 5, no lower than top 7 or so. You know, I don't have the list in my head, but I think it's up there because of how thorough it is. And it doesn't have because it has to focus on a large group. So you talk about a Ray, it really gets to dive deep. You know what I'm saying, Paul? Because it's one person, one life to follow. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to hold it to that standard. But when you talk about for what they had to do and how they executed it and still, touched on each part of the contract, the mothers, the personal lives with having kids and addictions, like they really had a good grasp around a comprehensive kind of look at New Edition. So I think it was like top 7 at least. And if I look at the list, maybe it could crack the top 5, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's tough. Drew, what would you give it, man? What was your ranking?
Rashonda said top 5, top 5, no lower than 7, something like that, because I can't think of any that came out recently that's been close to as good.
Yeah.
We have maybe sit and think. Well, we did the show. We did it last week. I can't think of any recent memory that's been close to this good.
Let's go through it.
So I'll get
right.
Yeah, top 5 to 7.
Yeah.
Somebody said in the group, I forgot who it was, that this was the best biopic since Temptations. Now, I would assume that they mean TV biopics. Yeah. That's what I would assume. Because I can't pretend that Selena and Ray and all those things in that. Well, wait. But Temptations came out when? Temptations came out with 93, right?
I don't know.
Was it later than that?
Yeah, was it like 97?
Later than that.
97?
Yeah, the Jackson movie came out like 92.
Yeah, okay. That's tough. I mean, top 5. So what would be the other 5 or 7? Like,
man,
Jackson's up there, right?
Jackson's up there. Ray is up there.
Ray's up there.
What's Love Got to Do with It? Is up there.
Nothing to do with it. Selena.
Y'all
want to put Selena up there?
It could be.
I would.
Okay, let's say Selena.
It was another one that was up there. We talked about the Frankie Lyman ended up being really highly rated. So
Temptations.
Yeah, Temptations could be up there. So
we're already 6. We're already 6.
Yeah.
So New Edition, would a New Edition knock out any of those?
So how do we feel about Straight Outta Compton? Let's talk about that. Recently, is it better than that? It's better than
yes. Yeah, I like it better than Straight Outta Compton.
Right.
Okay. Hold up. Okay. okay, I'm thinking about the experience, and I'm thinking about the authenticity. So in terms of the experience, I love the fact of going to Shredder Compton in the theater and just seeing me on the big screen. That was dope, right? But in terms of being authentic, it's tough because Dr. Dre is he's such a mogul. He's a legend, man. But they really had this dude.
He's also a Royal Rumble champion.
He was literally flying around Compton in a cape. Like, he was like, boom, man. Like, it's tough. It's tough, man. And then New Edition was such a longer story. And it's tough, man. I don't know. Like, it's basically saying if one had to go, if I had to pick Shredder Compton to go, New Edition, which one I want, I don't know. Because Shredder Compton is a big budget box office theater movie.
And it might be right behind La Bamba. Shout out to Donnie Ray. Bamba's that deal, baby.
You know Obama's movie?
Hey, don't play. You need to watch it before February is out.
My bad. I would do it. But it's tough, man. I don't know. So maybe that's why it makes it 7. I think Shredder Compton is, and they're both still really new.
Exactly.
So,
I definitely have New Edition had a Shredder Compton.
You say New Edition over Shredder Compton, Drew?
Absolutely.
Why do you say absolutely?
Shredder Compton, because this is the thing, man. Like, being a huge rap fan, like, there's certain things over the years you learn about artists, and when I watched Shredder Compton, I was like, nah, that's not how that happened. That's all I did. I got the entertainment value part of it. I was like, man, that's phony. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and so I couldn't. I'll probably never watch that again. Like,
wait, somebody saying it's top 5. Of course, there's not that many biopics on TV. Right. I mean, this movie is so dope. I'm putting it in the big leagues already. Like, I'm not even like, Temptations and the Jacksons. I mean, that's really your only.
I think it's better than James Brown. I think it was better than Little Richard.
You said what's the second one, Drew? You said after James Brown?
Little Richard.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's better than those two. Yeah. James Brown was like so abrupt. It came like he was already like an adult.
Yeah.
They did flashbacks, but it wasn't the same as like you felt you were like really growing up with them. And I love New Edition how they started from like the tour part. Yeah. Then they rewinded through it, and then they started from kids, and they went kind of chronological. Yeah. That was dope to me. I like that.
I think. Oh, quick question. Go
ahead.
It's kind of. Well, still biopic. So they just saw it like a week ago. They signed off on a Lifetime to do the Michael Jackson movie.
Oh, why? Tell me why? Why? Why they keep doing?
It's supposed to be.
So the first thing was the casting. Did you see who they casted to do Michael Jackson?
No, not the one where they had the guy with a messed up nose. Not that one.
It's a different one. You sure?
Yeah, no, not that.
Okay.
Not that.
Yeah, that got canceled.
That got canceled.
Well, they just stop. Okay.
This one is not Michael's whole life. It's towards the end. It's Michael's last couple of years, and it's based on the book from his bodyguards.
Okay.
What they did.
Can I just send a message out there? Okay, a message to all the TV executives. Okay, we already know Michael Jackson, fam. Okay, we have the Jacksons movie. We have Michael Jackson Moonwalker. We have This Is It. That's it.
I disagree. That's all we need.
Drew, they're gonna mess it up, man.
They gotta give Flex a chance at redemption. They gotta cast him for this one. They gotta give my man Flex a chance to redeem himself.
Flex, you owe me 5 minutes, man. You owe me 5 minutes, man. Go ahead, Drew.
I 100% agree. I think they will mess it up. But this is the thing. The Jacksons movie is not even a percentage of Michael's life. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
I know, man.
So this is the thing. This is Michael's my favorite artist of all time. He's the GOAT.
Allegedly.
Right? My hero.
You don't say.
But there's so like one thing about him though, he's very fascinating. Right. And there's been no movie that accurately got into Michael. People, unless I say me personally, I've learned.
I can't, man. I can't. But Drew, I know you go with this, but do we need a movie though? Like,
that's what
they're gonna mess it up. They're gonna mess it up.
So a prime example is how they had the TV thing about the making of Off the Wall. That may be more accurate if it's not a movie somebody playing might just get in the account.
A documentary of something of footage
to
we
play
haven't
Mike
seen
is gonna
before.
be real major.
Yeah. Like we need like this is it. Like this is it was in theaters. I'm sure Drew, you went to see it. I was definitely there.
No,
front row.
I didn't go to see it.
Okay. Well, I kind of know why how it played out. But that to me was like his own words, a documentary. I would respect that more than them doing another, like we don't like if they're gonna mess it up, man. There's other entertainers you could do. Like if we want to learn about Michael, do a documentary and rebroadcast Moonwalker with additional footage. Don't do a whole 5 hour. Don't do an hour and a half Lifetime movie of some dude playing Michael Jackson, man.
This is the thing. This is the thing. For a Michael Jackson movie, for one, it can't be on TV. It has to be.
Exactly.
Well, I'll say that. It has to be a huge production.
Yeah.
Because this is the thing. Michael Jackson's whole life, his whole career was a huge production. You can't try to like bottleneck that monstrosity of a personality, of a career, of a talent into a very small confined set of time. You can't do it.
Right, exactly.
You have to go all stops. You have to be very diligent. Also, I do know who's playing him. It's this guy named, I forgot his name. His name was like most best Michael Jackson impersonator. His name was Navi or some stuff.
Oh God.
Something like that. But anyway, you have to be very diligent on who you bring in to play him. Because this is the thing. The Jacksons movie, any of that stuff is not a portrayal of Michael Jackson's life at all.
Right.
It's not. That's his talent that we already know. If we want to make a movie, and it's one thing is very gonna be hard too, is make an even-handed movie. Because Michael had his controversies. So then you're gonna have to it's very delicate because there's a lot of legal stuff tied up. It's a lot. And I don't think it should be made. I don't know if anybody's really going to do it full justice. I think just leave it alone. And I think if you want to go into depth on Michael's life, the best way to do it is the way like the model I would use is HBO's documentary they did on Frank Sinatra.
Okay.
I thought the way HBO did Sinatra's documentary was super dope.
Yeah, he's enough footage to do that. I perfectly agree.
Yeah.
Because they do the later years, a lot of the later years, the public perception was the drama.
Yeah.
Right.
And so you're probably gonna skip Invincible. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna go straight to that period. It's just like it's gonna be more like what you didn't know about Michael Jackson. It's gonna try to tank his legacy.
Are we gonna hear from the children? That's what I want to know. No matter what happens, are we going to get a perspective from the children? Because that would be really important because that's one of the biggest mysteries to me. I haven't done the research, but what that relationship was like and how they feel about Michael. Because I could imagine.
The other day, Jonas.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Parents,
exactly. And I'm talking about like, are they going to have that interaction within there? Because if they don't have that in there, that's like the biggest link that you would miss. But yeah, that was a great.
Yeah, I think there's other ways of documenting his legacy besides the biopic. Documentaries, interview with the kids if they want to do it. I know he was kind of touchy about his kids speaking out and stuff like that, but like that will be dope. But not enough. Please, let's just leave it alone. Even if the Jacksons wasn't even 70% of what happened, we already have it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So let's just rock with that. Do your own research. Pick up the books. Buy the albums. You know what I'm saying? Like focus on like Sojourner Truth or somebody like this. The Harriet Tubman, Frederick. Let's get some Charles Drew. Let's get some more Drew. Let's get some other Black historical figures and King Tut and all those people. Like be good off Michael. Don't mess it up. Like Lifetime. Lifetime. Ruin somebody else's life. Dude, I don't know. Dude, who biopic could they do instead?
Honestly, I think I do, but I think a Sammy Davis Jr. movie would be super dope. I think if it's done right, it could be like there was a lot of things in Sammy's life you know, dealing with racial things.
Yeah.
You know, his come up in the business, how young, because he was Michael before Michael, being a young entertainer. All that. Like Sammy has a full life, full of a lot of drama. You lost the eyeball, like you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, there's a lot to talk about.
Sammy's a good one. Stevie Wonder would be a good one.
Memphis Bleak.
Yeah, that's one
extra money.
That's one of the BC centric one. TV one joint. Shout out to BC. That was a joke. Like, hey, you said this last night on your show. But no, Stevie Wonder would be a dope one. But in terms of another BT TV one, Jodeci would be a dope one.
Jodeci.
Gotta have Jodeci, man.
I think Jodeci, Boys II Men would be a dope, cool in the same universe, you know, like the Marvel universe. That would be a dope one for that. Mary J could be a dope one.
Well, Mary J. What they posted in the group, the Wu-Tang versus 2 Live Crew. I'd rather see a 2 Live Crew movie.
Wu-Tang?
The Wu-Tang?
Yeah, well, this is the reason why.
Go ahead.
The reason why, because there's certain.
He said women.
Hey, no, but I'm saying though, so it's like because they are a huge part of how we get to consume music today, as far as you know, the music censorship and all that, them fighting the government. Like, there's a lot of pieces to that. You got like we know, like big sports fans, how Luke handled the situation with the University of Miami. There's a lot of moving parts.
Absolutely.
Because they weren't the illest. They weren't the illest
right.
rappers, like, you know what I'm saying? But you know, they have a lot of controversies, a lot of things they changed on different forms of entertainment, sports and music that you can definitely dive into and make an ill movie. Wu-Tang would be dope. I mean, I'd watch it.
You know what they could do? You know what they could really do? I think that would be dope. But I think Irv Gotti was trying to do something similar to this with the 90s hip hop labels. Right. I think they had like a Netflix series just dedicated to every season a different group. That would be dope.
Well,
so you get but we waited how many years for New Edition? We don't need 3 years apart. I'm gonna be like 50 till we get to 2 Live Crew. But the 2 Live Crew to me, I think 2 Live Crew will be a dope 3-hour, 4-hour movie. But in terms of the appeal, it's not gonna make it to theaters. Right. I don't know if there's enough. Like for nostalgia purposes, the nostalgia, Jodeci is going to be probably the top of the list here on out. I mean, I would love a Drew Hill movie, but I don't know if Drew Hill would garner as much attention as.
You know what's a sleeping giant, but it needs more time to develop because I think it needs like a final chapter, and not final chapter as far as death. Heaven forbid, but a Chris Brown, because we saw Chris Brown. Somebody said it there. That would be major, but it needs it needs another chapter, because he's still in the midst of kind of going through some stuff, and we don't all quite know what it is. It's a lot of speculation. So once he gets like that next step in his life, I think if you start from early in his career, however he grew up early in his career, then you go to the stardom and how you deal with that and the crossover.
That would be later.
That's what I'm saying. It needs more time to develop.
That's 20 years from now.
Yeah, exactly. Or 15, depending. Let's hope it ends well. Because that's the Destiny Child would be up. You know what I'm saying? Like in vogue. So I mean, there's other groups you can do.
That would be unauthorized for sure.
We have to just make sure too that people are not going to just like do money grabs, right?
Exactly.
Because New Edition, even though it took a long time to bake, it came out great. You know what I mean? Bars. You know what I mean? It took a long time, but now because the money grab, people are going to take 3 months to do a Jodeci movie. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't want that. Yeah. We want it to be authentic as possible. So I think that would be a dope way to do it.
Yeah, I think Destiny's Child would be dope, but I was saying too, like that was something that I'm sure be unauthorized. I can't see Beyonce sign.
Nah.
That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
Yeah, anything's gonna make her, and I love Beyonce, Beehive out there, but I don't think it's gonna be like I don't want to say honest. She's not gonna look bad in it. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not gonna look bad, and so you never know. Beyonce.
If LaToya Luckett,
I wouldn't trust that either. I wouldn't trust one of them just to do it. All of them would have to be together because they're gonna make her seem like the diva. If you are Kelly Rowland, you're gonna aim it at Beyonce. You know what I'm saying? Maybe Michelle should do it. She gospel and all that. She'll be honest. You know what I'm saying? But she was there the whole time, so it's what I mean. But
it's still Lauryn Hill. If it's done right, Lauryn Hill is still one that I say would be an amazing one. That'd be.
I guess.
No, don't hate. Lauryn Hill be great. Lauryn Hill be great.
I mean, okay, but where do we stop at? Like 97? Like what?
Well, if that's the thing. If it's scheduled to come on at 8, it won't start until 8:29.
No, but we're gonna stop at like 98, right? Are we gonna stop at the unplug? Where she had the banjo and the bandana on? Like, what if we? She had to do it with the cape on. Is it misery? Like, what we gonna do? Like, I don't know what we're gonna. Where we start and stop with that? I don't know. It's too many gaps. I don't know. It's gonna be like 93. It's gonna be like 93. Skip. 97. Skip. 2002. Skip. 2017. It's gonna be like a commercial. But yeah, like the Dungeon Family, like So Death, Crisscross, the whole. I mean, there's so many ways you gotta spin certain things.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that we keep it authentic. New Edition this movie just didn't do great because it was based on nostalgia. I mean, that's part of it, and they had dope songs. That's part of it. But also too, it was very authentic. All the members were involved, and they took their time. Please, y'all, take your time. TLC, for example, TLC gets a lot of flack. I don't know why. TLC's movie, I thought was good. It wasn't the best. It wasn't top 5. It was good for what it was. It kind of lacked because you didn't get really Left Eye's perspective too much because she isn't here, unfortunately. But in terms of the portrayals of L.A. Reid, what's her name? Little Mama did her thing as Left Eye. I think that that did a great job. But it got kind of lost in the mix of the shuffle with the whole Aaliyah movie. Yeah. Which was trash. You know what I mean? Go ahead, Drew.
I think one thing why artists might also be more inclined to do and sign off on these things going forward is streaming. It's streaming. And I know right now that New Edition is probably making a killing on the streaming because like like certain stuff like this, right? So today I was on I forgot who posted the Slam Online or NBA, but there was a video of LeBron today. He was warming up and it was playing I forgot what song, but LeBron singing New Edition, and I think uninterrupted LeBron was talking about the New Edition. So and now it's like now their name is out there and is ringing bells, and it's moving this new culture, not new culture, but this new generation who doesn't know a lot about New Edition. You got LeBron like that.
Of course. Same thing with Shannon Compton. Those streams can sell it up the very next week.
Again, you don't have to go to the CD store and spend $12.99 to go buy all the New Edition albums. Boom, get on the phone, scroll through, make your playlist or whatever, and it's real quick.
Yeah, absolutely.
Rock out. So them streams is probably crazy. So I bet that you're gonna get from that.
And they perform those full songs too. Like they were performing like for a good 2-3 minutes. It was going on.
And speaking of, I know Ice Cube got money because Dr. Dre is irrelevant, but people didn't realize how dope Ice Cube. Well, a lot of younger generation probably didn't realize how dope Ice Cube was, and they probably went and heard No Vaseline and heard some of them early albums, and he probably got all kind of additional streams after that. So that's a good point.
Yeah, we'll see. We will see. I'm sure there's going to be a spike. Like I get the SoundScan numbers, so I'm sure the streaming is going to be incredible for it. But even with the whole ABC, they performed a 5-minute performance of the Jackson song in the movie. I was like, dang, they still going? Those rights must have been so expensive. My dude was like, yo, we doing a whole joint. Like, we're making this work, okay? the commercial came, it was still performing. I was like, dang, they still going? We get it. They were a big influence, okay? We understand. Man, other than that, man, they did a great job. All y'all pessimists out there, we hope you guys were proven wrong. Please support it. If you haven't seen the movie, check. I'm sure BT will be running this for a long time, okay? All 6 hours.
It's on right now. Actually, I think it's on right now.
It's on right now, yeah, I'm sure, man. Like the camera quality was great. Again, those guys, great job. From the kids, from the adults, everybody. If you did your thing in this movie, you're gonna get another role. You're gonna get some buzz, like for sure. So yeah. Okay, cool. So next week we're doing the Grammy predictions. All right. This year actually should be pretty fire. Shout out to Neris. They actually got a Grammy invite. Wife is pregnant, so I'm staying in New York. You know what I'm saying? That he's my Grammy, my little Grammy. But it should be a dope show. And I think they're gonna be in New York next year. So they're gonna try to go out with a bang for being in LA. So a Beyonce and Adele is gonna be going head to head in a lot of these awards, man. I can tell you right now, when I was doing the ballots, they were neck and neck in almost every category they're in. I can't even predict who's going to win at this point. It's gonna be crazy. Yeah, sure. Go ahead, Drew.
So, because you definitely right there in with that, and and so so the Grammys, it's like this with the Oscars too. You know, a lot of stuff's in Los Angeles.
Right, exactly.
And we're in California. And how come we get stuff late? If the show, if it's live here,
right,
our time zone, why do we get it?
You know why? Because Trump is in office and we got a heavy Latino population. You know what it is.
No, well, I can only assume because I don't deal with the TV broadcast. Because their deal with CBS is different than the Grammy chapters. But I mean, for the most part, there's more segmented demographics on the East Coast. So you cater to like New York and Atlanta and Miami and DC, and so it's more. And unfortunately, they just worry about Cali on the West Coast. It's like, oh yeah, Cali just get it late. It's all good. We have literally more people on the East Coast.
They don't care about Arizona and Oregon.
Yeah, I heard Arizona. He was like, I ain't West Coast. I'm from Arizona. I'm like, oh, okay, my bad.
Yeah, it's real. Don't say that to nobody from Colorado and Arizona.
Yeah, like I slip up and call Sacramento the Bay. I almost got beat down the grocery store.
Yeah,
that was the Shawners. The Shawners flew here and beat me down the grocery store. So yes, I don't know, but yeah, that's a good point. I do know
the big events.
Well, I do know that it's cheaper out there, which is a plus. That's not a knock. It's actually a great thing. So you have more space. Here, they're probably doing like Rockefeller Center, which is going to be kind of like
a regular city music hall.
Yeah, which is big for us, but it's not big enough to be in Madison Square. Well, they could. It kind of really depends. But yeah, that's a good point. I always say that West Coast, unfortunately, because the stations are kind of based on the East Coast. They'll kind of just get that short end of the stick. You know what I'm saying?
Because I'm like the Super Bowl. I'm thinking of like other things like a big production like the Super Bowl. Everybody watches the Super Bowl at the same time, so it can be done. I'm like, what's?
Yeah.
I don't know if there was some logistics behind that.
Yeah.
But,
well, I mean, to be honest with you, obviously the Grammys is a huge thing, and so are the Oscars. But the Super Bowl, that's the ratings is like double. Yeah. It's like aliens are watching the Super Bowl. Right? So like somebody made the DVR the Oscars. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a whole different ball game. So that's a good point. Yeah, but it should be a really, really great show. So shout out to all the nominees. We'll go through our predictions next week. I have all the categories. I think they actually should be public now. You want to check it out. And then we'll do the Grammy recap the next week. So that'll be interesting. So be prepared, people.
A quick thing too, I was today. I went out to the Bay today. Every time I go out to the Bay, you need like a good album to sit with, during that drive. And so I threw in that Migos Culture joint. Crazy.
The Migos. Okay,
that was crazy.
So real quick, since we got 20 viewers on, we talk a little bit. Hey, 20 viewers, where y'all at 30 minutes ago?
So your dub's up.
So yeah, I listened to the Migos album, okay? And I'm not a super duper huge fan of it, right? I like the flow. I appreciate the flow and all that. Out of maybe, let's say 16 songs, fam, 13 of them sounds the same. I had to check my phone. Like, is it skipping? It's like, I'm going to the mall. Next song. I'm at the mall again. I'm like, yo. Then it's like featuring Gucci, solo. Featuring Lil Uzi Vert, solo. Featuring Travis Scott. So I'm like, okay. Even the Bad and Bougie song. Like, I know it's like the cool thing, and my boy Childish Gambino shouted out. That's dope. I'm still not a huge fan of that song. I'm sorry. I like the title. I think it's called Bad and Bougie. But I don't really like the song.
Uzi's verse is terrible. Uzi's verse is terrible.
I mean, which is his verse? And also, the second, the third. Where is he at?
But that's the last.
Okay.
It's crazy because I absolutely get what you because that's how I feel about most of this stuff. But like, we throw this Migos on, like I give everybody a shot. You know what I'm saying? Like so.
Yeah, me too. I try to.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And so I'm listening to it, and it is repetitive. So but I know one thing I'm able to what I think everybody should be able to do with music anything is compartmentalize things and put it certain places. And I'm listening to it, I'm like, yo, this album is definitely getting me through this drive. You know what I'm saying? Like I was entertained, like, you know what I'm saying? So I could definitely see how I'll be rocking like you in Vegas and
so it's
how it was lit.
It's cool. So for those out there who don't think I'm some old fogey who only listens to New Edition and Biggie, I want to shout out some new, you know, like, like, where's all the good music nowadays? Oh, I'm not one of those people listening to me all the time. Shout out to H.E.R. Her, which is dope. Shout out to Ray Black, she's fire with Chill Out. Shout out to Jazz Cartier. Shout out to Kalani. Like, I listen to, even I downloaded the whole Migos thing. I'm going to save that. So it's so many different dope artists out here, man. I feel like Prodigy's new album was dope. He's not a new artist, but yeah, it's a lot of good music out here, man. I just love the diversity. I love people who are trying to advance the culture. I do like the Migos flow. I think their flow definitely influenced it. I just feel like what I got from Ray Shremmer, I kind of got that. Like, if I need that, I'll just go to Ray. You know what I'm saying? Like okay, I'm covered. You know what I'm saying? Like, am I gonna miss anything?
The big thing is like what? Sorry, I'm gonna go ahead, Shaughnessy.
Nah, I was just gonna mess with Drew a little bit and said so. Migos, you said is alright. So, Queen, can you tell me in like 5 words how you feel about Get Rich or Die Trying again?
The most overrated album in the history of rap.
Okay, all right. I just wanted to make sure I had everything straight, you know, for my record. Let me put a note in my phone.
Drew, I gotta ask you, Drew. Okay, when you heard Wankster, man, you can't tell me when you heard Wankster that joint wasn't bumping, man. Come on, Drew.
Wait, this is the thing. So, this is the thing. So, I'm a big my favorite genre of music, right? Is late 90s, early 2000s East Coast rap. I'm from Sac. I love Cali. That's where I'm from. But something about that music to me doesn't sound like anything else. I just really love it.
Right, yeah.
So a lot of the Queensbridge rappers, I would hear there's like underground songs that had 50 on it with like Nature and dudes like that.
Yeah.
So when 50 came out, when Wankster hit, I didn't look at 50 like a lot of other people looked at 50. I was like, oh, that's 50 from the other song. That's good. And it hit. And I was like, that's good. But I didn't think it was something super crazy. I mean, the thing about it was like this and Ja Rule, like, you know what I mean? Having a little Ja Rule doll and throwing that in the garbage, like stuff like that. But, you know, I listened to Get Rich, you know, and this is the thing. Get Rich starts off strong.
Yeah.
And by about 6 or 7, it nosedives.
What?
Come on! Are you kidding me?
Like when he come on, when the beat popping the dumb and the drum.
Oh, the last song
with the gunshot and the Dre chords with the organ. The organ with the gunshot.
The last song that's good. Everything after Heat sucks.
Oh my god.
Mini Man.
Exactly.
No, back down after Heat.
Yeah, you tripping, son.
Back down.
Back down's the hardest record. The Nobody Likes Me joint. You not like me? Oh my God, man!
I don't like them songs.
The Lights on the Line joint?
No.
The Wankster with the 2-way beat? Come on, Drew.
Try to talk to him.
Drew, we was in the car just driving, man, and Wankster came on, man. I know you be going crazy, man. Gotta be, man.
Nah.
Saying they go murk. Saying they go murk 50. How we run around with the guns the size of five. Come on, man. That dude is so hard.
Hold on. You said Heat was. So I want you to know if I Can't Do It was after Heat.
I hate.
Yes,
I make fun. Shut up. I make fun of that. I make fun of that song for fun. Like, that's
okay. What about Don't Push Me? What about Don't Push Me with Eminem and Banks?
I don't like that song. I don't like none of that.
All right, let's wrap up. Let's wrap up. I'm gonna drive this. Let's wrap up. I'm about to pull up on you. Man. This
all right.
Album in history.
So for those in the chat, it's lit right now. Give us like some 5 questions, man. Y'all want us to just to answer real quick. Do a little quick Q&A really quick. Oh, Donnie Ray said, even I like Wankster 50 irks me. Go ahead, Donnie Ray. Wankster, you can't, man. There's certain people that you don't like, but this one song, like, okay, I rock with it. You know what I'm saying?
I like the Massacre way more than I like Get Rich.
Oh yeah, well then, not with that Jamie Foxx record, nah.
So why the questions are running through? Can you talk for a quick second about how? Because we've been talking about this. How, in your best guess, was that contract structured to where they had the MCA, the Michael Rappaport cut, then the Michael Rappaport manager cut, and then New Edition split 5 ways? Where do you think all the money? Yeah.
That's pretty common. I mean, the bad part is he wasn't transparent with him. Like if you think about it, the manager, whoever Michael Rappaport character was, I should know this. But basically what he did was he just basically had an imprint. So when people say I have my own label, and you think of like a building with 50 people in it, that's not really the case. It's like you have a legal imprint that says you can operate as a DBA under whatever. So I can operate as the Culture Records. I don't have to have the 20 staff members. I just legally can say I can operate under the Culture Records.
Like a lot of people do with 501c3s.
Right, so all the profits that generates goes through the Culture Records, and I'm the sole proprietor of it. I mean, I'm not the person that like owns it or whatever. So all he did was put them in like a production deal or a little record label imprint where he actually takes the profits, he takes the loss too, because they don't know, because if the album bombs, he owes the money back. So basically, MCA cuts him a check saying, here, this is $50,000, use this for your marketing, use this for management, use this for tour, and then whatever you generate, you pass on to them, right? But if those expenses exceed what the group makes, then they got to recoup, and then they're left with $1.50. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But when you're not transparent, hey group, instead of using this castle that costs $20,000, yes, use a forest that costs $5,000. That way, when you recoup, you'll have $10,000 left over that you wouldn't have spent using the castle, and that's called being in the artist's best interest. But what you don't do is say, okay, well, I'll just let them do whatever they want to do. I'll keep my cut to the side and say instead of the budget being $50,000, it's really $40,000. So I got my 10, and then if y'all blow that extra money, y'all gotta recoup that. But the $10,000 that y'all had y'all budget, that's just me automatically. So whether you win or lose or not, that's still up to me. And I think that was the issue with Mike Davis. Okay, well, if that's how it is, that's how it is. But like you're not being transparent with us, you're not helping us make the best business decisions. So now we don't know the business, you do. And you putting stuff on air, so I don't even know what this record. I know MCA, like I'm seeing MCA, and MCA can like dismiss me tomorrow, right? But the sad part is what MCA did was like, okay, well, we'll give you the $50,000. The loss is on you, but if it's big, we have the option of signing any one of those people.
Exactly.
Because we own the distribution, so we can get you into Walmart and I don't know what else at that time, but we're the direct connect for the manufacturing. You pay us for that, but if it pops, we can sign whoever we want to, and you can't do nothing about it. So we can cut you out of it. So Michael Rappaport's character had a bad deal himself.
Exactly.
Even once they cut him as the management aspect of it, the imprint isn't solid. They can directly do solos with them, and then to recoup, they can do the group album with MCA. So all their deals was messed up. And by the time they did, the funny thing is with Gerald Bugsby, which they didn't show in the movie, by the time they came back and did the reunion album, it wasn't even at the label anymore. It was gone. So it's like all of them just kind of like the business was crazy. So that's the summary. So I mean, the thing about it was, I mean, in the end, New Edition won. You know what I'm saying? Like in the long-term game, and that's what happens. And that's what Kanye was talking about. He said all these A&Rs who said I wouldn't pop, I wouldn't blow, and now they don't work there no more. You know what I'm saying? And I'm still Kanye West. So it's just really about playing the game, man, and educating yourself, like Mike Bivins did. And then once you find out information, educating your brothers, saying, "Yo, we can hold out." And Ronnie was like, "Nah, let's wait 2 years." And Mike Biv's like, "We may not have 2 years. Like we can't." You know what I'm saying? So we can't. We're not even singing the solos. Me and you not even singing the solos. So.
Jessica Williams asked, how do you feel about the new Missy track? And Morgan asked, when are we doing the Bad Boy versus Death Row?
Okay, I'm gonna answer Morgan first. We're never doing that. I'm gonna go back to not joking. I'm joking. We'll do that sometime soon. I mean, it's gonna be hard, man, because Bad Boy got so many hits, man. It's really hard. Like, we need somebody from LA like on the show. You know what I'm saying? Who was born in like '82 to come debate this. Because I don't see a debate.
It would have to be restricted to almost rap hits because Bad Boy did so much it would have to be restricted. But
I mean, even with rap. I mean, I don't know. So what was the first question? The Missy song?
How do you feel about the new Missy track?
I think I said this in the group.
And we're on air.
We're on air. Those that know, Missy's like one of my hometown heroes, man. Like literally. But the song, it has to grow on me, to be honest with you. I get what she's trying to do. Missy is one of those people where she always kind of like led the pack. That's one of my critiques of Usher. And it's like, I look for Missy to create something new, not necessarily follow the wave. the funny thing is, this kind of is her sound.
Yeah.
Everybody else is kind of catching up to it.
Yeah.
But I expected her to go left, and I just love her and Timbaland. And every time the first single is it with Timbaland, I'm like, I don't know. But the video was fire. The video was phenomenal.
I still haven't heard it yet.
Yeah.
Who produced it?
Yeah, I don't know. That's my point. I don't even know. It wasn't Timbaland. So, and then some guy she has up there, he's doing the hook. I like she has her own hooks. It's just, I get it. And when Missy's been such start and stop for the past 4 or 5 years, unless she has some health situations. I really felt like I obviously came back to that Super Bowl performance. But she was at the super peak, and then all her songs were charting and all that. That should have been that time. They should have really kind of prepared for that. Now it's kind of like, I feel like the second single got to draw me in. So to answer your question, long story short, the song is cool, but I love the video more. I wish I would have saw the video first. So I'm just cautious about it. That's all. I hope it's not all just trap stuff. I love Missy, but yeah, I gotta hit something else. Gotta hit something else too. But it's not bad. It's not bad. I did save it to my Spotify, but I like the video more. Morgan asked, when is Missy gonna release her album? You asking the wrong person. I have no idea. There's no industry talk that I can tell you. There's no inside scoop. I have none. I have no idea what Missy. I think she's still with Atlantic, so I don't. That'd be a great question for them. Morgan's like, LOL. Any other one more question real quick. I didn't know Yaz could act like that. Yeah, I didn't know Yaz act at all. I don't watch Empires. I had no idea. I don't. Somebody at the label was like, why don't I watch Empire? I'm like, fam, like if you work at a record label every day, y'all want to come home and watch a TV show of a record label? it's like over fabricated, doesn't happen. Like it's just like no. It'd be the equivalent of a football player coming home and watching the game. You know what I mean? It's like okay. Yeah, it's like why am I watching this? Like this is not what I'm seeing every day.
Watching Jason Pitts run routes and I'm sitting there.
It's like 60 at the Super Bowl. I'm like this is not realistic. Any last are you looking forward to Brooke Payne's album? Yeah. Oh, I am looking forward to is Big Sean. Big Sean comes out this Friday.
Oh, that's
so
that's soon.
Big Sean.
Oh yeah, it's on there. I'm gonna definitely check that out because a lot of people love Big Sean.
Big Sean's dope, and Sid on the internet. Her solo drops too. This may be Sid's her sellout album. This may be her Bobby Brown. The one before Don't Be Cruel. This may be hers. So I don't know. I heard some of her songs and they're cool, but it ain't Girl. It ain't Get Away. I could be wrong though. I could be wrong. But shout out to everybody that's watching. I will be reviewing Big Sean's album. Those have been asking me why.
What? You still do that?
Yeah, those asking me why I don't do album reviews anymore. I've been super busy. I will be reviewing Big Sean's album. Okay, so I will be doing that. Look out for that Friday. I will be doing that and all that. Okay, so cool. All right. So, any last words to Shauna's?
Start with me.
Yeah. Any last words for the people?
All right. Sorry. All right, thanks for tuning in, man. Thank you for all the support. For those of you who are newer, we're on episode, what is it now? BMOC 60 something?
Wow. So it's like 67, 66, 66. Wow.
We got some fire, man. Go back and watch the earlier episodes too. You know, we had a lot of good ones over the years, man. Starting with the one guy that goes and all that. It's been really fun. And prayers up to all those that are dealing with the issues that are hindering our country, man. You know, like we're in California, we deal with a very multicultural population, and all of the people that have family in different countries and people that are dealing with that. Prayers to you, and I hope everything kind of works out and gets better, regardless of who's in power. So, thank you.
Word. Shout out to everybody out there affected. This country, everybody that was like, what's the worst that Trump can do? He's showing you some of it.
Early.
And dude only been in the office like a week and some change. Already got people protesting the air like this dude is wilding.
Yeah, man.
I don't know I can even do that. I'm still whatever. That's a separate episode.
Absolutely.
That people can go back and watch. We went over the election and the postal election reaction. So those are the episodes you can go back and watch. Yeah, episode was very dope. I love, the New Edition movie was very dope. So, like I said, my thing is I love seeing quality product and, music. Great music is timeless. And I think when and great artists are timeless. And when you want to go back and tell their story and recreate it, you have to give it the same energy and nourishment that went into creating it in the first place.
Yeah.
And so, shout out to BT and Chris Robinson and all the actors who did a great job putting in the work, sitting with each individual member and, getting the choreography down and knowing the songs and singing the songs live and doing a good job with it. Very well put together, and we need more of that. If you're gonna do it right. That saying fit totally for this movie.
Please, that's the theme of this whole episode. You want to do it right. Jeez Louise.
Yeah. And social media, Bricks is King. You can follow me on Twitter, all that, and the culture.
Yeah, follow Drew now. Drew's a superstar, man. He got people asking for like, where's Drew at? I need to find him. Like, calm down, okay? Okay, you have to wait outside the blistering cold. All right. So yeah, shout out to all you guys out there. For those who are following me, don't follow me. Major event coming up. Getting signed, Live the Biz, the A&R panel. For those who are in New York City or the New Jersey area, I'm having a mega A&R panel February the 9th. I have some heavy hitters. Be like Mike Bivens. You want to learn the business? Come out, okay? If you're an artist, educate yourself. I have the VP of Atlantic Records, A&R, Rick Morales. For those that don't know it, Drew definitely knows. But he's behind like the Hamilton soundtrack, behind Wiz Khalifa, Janelle Monáe, he'll be there. I got Law Parker, who's one of the big A&Rs from Rock Nation, who helps sign artists there. I have somebody from Warner Chapel, DP from Carlin America, A&R from Razor and Ties. So check it out. Live the Biz, livethebizz/events. We're almost out of tickets, VIP tickets. So check it out. I'll be moderating. I act crazy. How I act crazy on this show is how I exactly act at these panels. Okay. So I'll be wilding out. I don't change up. All right. I keep it thorough. So check it out. And that's it, man. If you want to support our channel, go to youtube.com/BMOCTV. Please subscribe. Join the group. Facebook.com/group/BMOCTV. And don't yell at me. I have no idea where Jamie is. So don't hit my inbox. I don't know. But she had a successful event. Dear sister Charlotte, so shout out to her. Shout out to Donita. Shout out to Tyra. And yeah, shout out to the whole BMOCTV fam. Shout out to Slizzy. I'm mad Slizzy couldn't come on.
Man, he tried.
Before I leave, let me tell y'all about Slizzy, okay? Slizzy, I'm trying to tell you. I think it shows on Tuesday night. Check him out on Blog Talk. Slizzy was promoting this movie harder than BT. Okay? Slizzy was promoting this movie since before. I thought Slizzy was playing Brooke in it. I thought he was playing Brooke the part where I thought he was in it. I'm like, see Roddy's dad or somebody? I don't know. Like every time, funny stories. I was getting lined up at the bar, getting my beer straight, you know what I mean? So I saw the third part of the movie late. I go on Facebook. Slizzy telling it all. Like, oh my God, Johnny Gill just went to the store, got some milk. Oh my God, Ralph Tresvant checked up for a cord. Oh, why Bobby his hair got cut off? I'm like, Slizzy, you got it. He was saying it so much. I don't know if he was watching the movie or he was directing the movie. I don't know, like, I'm like, is it still on? He's typing like how is that happening? So shout out to Slizzy. I was gonna troll him all night, but he did come on. So his connection got cut off. But Slizzy, you'll get this work regardless, man. Okay, there'll be a part 2. Pause. So, but yeah, but shout out to Slizzy, man. Good peoples, man. Shout out to all y'all, man. So that's it. So I'm BMOC. Peace.